Welcome back to the chat with Sporty on this channel. So for a long time now, been about a couple of weeks or maybe more, but I'm coming live to let you all know that I'm doing okay. Uh, my family and I are doing okay. I've been so busy working, and I don't know if you all know that, but I have my own e-commerce store that I'm selling things on there. I'm selling things on Printify. I'm selling things. I used to have my store on Etsy and went, but I closed those stores down. First, I closed Etsy because I have been getting a lot of scammers, and I try to, acknowledge, which one is true and which one is not. And I closed Edwin because well, both stores, Edwin and uh, Etsy, I wasn't making any money off of that. I was taking my items and placing on there, and I was getting the likes and the view, but as far as the money making, I wasn't receiving any of that. So I prayed about it, and I talked with my family, my husband, and my kids, and I decided to just to close those stores, those two stores down. I still have Shopify, even though I'm not making any sales of that, but in my heart, something just keep telling me to keep Shopify open. I don't know why. So most of my stuff is coming from Printify. I'll design my items there, and then either sometimes I'll buy my items and place into the stores I wanted to be listed at. Um, but I also have another store called Macari. I'm selling things on there. So far, it's still going slowly. I sold two items on there. One was a fire plant, and the other one was the little figurine of Jesus Christ. And so I'm going to be posting my some more items on there as well. But I got a few items on there as I as I speak. And I also have my listing of stores. I need to go back and correct it, but I have my information how to reach me on Google Online. So it hasn't been easy. I kind of played to just close the my e-card, and I do have my LLC license. Um, I'm kind of complaining, should I just go ahead and just close everything out, or am I getting over my head or top? But I prayed to my God, and I know that my God spoke to me, and He told me to go ahead and press forward, and He told me that it may look dairy or the cloud may come over, but soon and very soon I'm going to see the bright light. And I was so funny because I read this morning. I get these little biblical scriptures on my phone, and I read about how the story about Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego in the book of Daniel's, and how the ruler there wanted them to bow down to him, and they told him no, and they said because they dwell and depend on their God, and if God doesn't, and the little king told them that if they didn't root down, bend down, bow down to him and praise to him, that he was going to turn to take them into the furnace. And they said that they know that their God is going to deliver them, and if their God didn't deliver them, they still not going to bow down to him. And it was an interesting topic. I took the time to read it this morning, and when the king realized, so he went to go and have them this, he saw that it was set of three people and it was four. He realized, and make a long story short, they came out of the furnace with no smell or smoke or no fire burning the hair, the clothes, anything, and they came out. And when the king realized that there was truly that their God is a marvelous God, he did not only acknowledge God, but he reward them as well. And so it was an interesting topic because I read it this morning, and it was really headed towards me with me and my store. Um, I don't know what my store is gonna. I don't know what it's gonna entail. But I do know that I have to keep pressing forward. I'm a type of person is that I want to, you know, uh, go through all aspects of my life, all channels of my life, in order to get that perfect solution. And I can say, hey, I finally got found my call, what have you. Like I have this channel, this chat was sporty. I have another channel on YouTube, and that's specifically my store. It's called Sporty Classic Creation LLC. My store name is Sporty Classy Creation LLC. And then I have my podcast where I do a little bit of scripture on there. But lately I haven't posted anything on this channel, on my other channel with the podcast, and the other channel that listen my um my items from the store. And I also have TikTok where I just put nothing but spiritual things on it, spiritual scriptures and pictures and stuff like that. And I have a lot of followers on there as well. And I have another one, business TikTok, what it's called everything, all my business called Sporty Classic Creation LLC. um and sometimes when you feel like, when God gave you the calling, you feel like this is the answer. And then when one door closes, you feel just like, wow, why am I setting myself for failure? But you have to realize that it's not for failure, it's for your own good. And when God tells you to do something, it's the picture may seem like, what is this? But God knows what He's doing, and He's not going to set you up for failure. He's not going to set you and say, okay, forget you. I'm gonna make you be me like a fool or be embarrassed. He does that because in His own time He's going to then bless you, and that's why I say about my store. I believe that my store is going to manifest. I believe that all that I put into my store, I know it's not going to go down to wire to drain. I believe that God is a God that sits high, and I know that God looks upon me. And I'm not crying for no embarrassment. I'm crying because all my life I was told I couldn't make it. All my life I was told that, you know, I'm crazy, I'm stupid, oh she can't make it, and I still deal with those issues in my life. Look at my face. I got pigmentation on my face. I got big teeth in my mouth. I sit up here, I stutter. But the one thing, and I read about a couple of weeks ago, I read about how Abraham, I think it was no Moses, he was stuttering and God used him. And so when I say this to say is that I'm not going to fall, I'm not going to throw in the towel yet. I'm going to keep on pushing forward and pushing forward. And if this is not the route for me to be able to get my started, or people just think worse than me and less than me, I'm still gonna be okay because I know that I am God's child. I know that I'm His. I know that I belong to the King, and I know that He loves me so much that He decided to created me in my mother's womb before my mother even knew what she was having. So I just wanted, I don't know why I'm saying all that. I just, my heart is sometimes it's heavy, and dealing with this matter, dealing with, I'm married to my husband, and I have three kids, and sometimes my family and I, my husband and I, we go through the storms, we go through this, but there is a God, because one thing I told my husband, I told my family is that the devil doesn't like, he doesn't like a good family. He is, excuse me, he is going around seeing who he can destroy, how he can kill and conquer, because he know his time is up. And so when he sees that the family is pulled together, he will do everything he can to bring that family up, tear that family apart. But that's why we have to continue to pray, and we got to look towards God's unchanging hand. We got to look towards God to say that God, you are the omnipresent. You are the God that sits high and looks low, and you will not fail us. You will not tear us apart. You will not let the devil have his way. And even though we know that he will not let the devil have his way, but we as his children have to do our part as well. you know People say I'm strong. People, oh, you're an idiot, you strong. And there's time when I have been strong. This time when I have looked and say to myself, well, I am my mother's seed, I am my father's seed. But then this time when I just, nobody knows, when I'm saying this, God himself, Lord, in my heart I feel like I'm just a weak person, and I just want to cry, 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 go into a closed box and just say I give up. But when I look at where I came from to where I am now, all the many ones who said I don't have good sense, all the one who still look at me differently, all the one who looks at my face and look at my teeth, and I gained a little bit of weight, and but I'm still standing. I'm still standing on God's promise that He has for me in my life. When I look at how as you all know, I don't, if you all don't know, I had a first relationship, a first husband, and I thought that this was he was the apple of my dreams. And as far as I know, he has got remarried, and as far as I know, he's doing good with his wife. But it took me a hell of a lot to recuperate for the things I had to go through with my first husband. And I just thought when we decided to go ahead to go divorce, or when I decided to say put it throw in the towel, I just thought that was the end of it. Could nobody love me the way they love me? Could nobody accept me? Could look at me? But I have a husband that treats me like the queen that I am. Now, I'm not gonna say that me and my husband relationship is solid and is perfect. No, it's not, because we have arguments. We have heated debates, what have you. That's what a husband and wife, our marriage is all about. You go through ups and downs in order to get to where you're at, to the point in your life you say, hey, we done it, did that. But and everyone knows me, who knows me knows that my mouth is nasty. And when I say my mouth is nasty, means that, like in the Bible, I try to put it based on that, but it's not right. But I still put it based on that. When it says in the Bible, God said his mouth is like a two-edged sword. Well, my mouth is sort of like that. Well, it means I would just say things and disrespect you and say things, but then I will feel better because that's how I am. I don't really want to get upset. I really don't want to, go to that level. But I realize that this man who is my husband, he accepted me. He loves me for who I am. Okay. He loves me for my goodness. And I know that this man that is my husband is from God. I know that he's from God, because any other my exes, like my ex-husband or any of my ex-boy, would have walked away, but he's still here with me. I read about it was on my phone. It came across my phone, Delta Bird and Gerald McGraney, and how she said about her husband, how that her husband loved her. She is amazing how this man truly loves her, and how Gerald McGraney said, they both actor and actress, he said that he could not let her go. He couldn't get her. He couldn't let her. He couldn't. What is it? It was a word. He couldn't. He could lose her. He couldn't get her taken away. He couldn't. Lose her or let her go. And when I read that, I thought about my husband, because that's how my husband is. I can sit there and disrespect my husband, and my husband come back and give me flowers. No, it's not right. It isn't right, and we should not take people for granted like that. But it just tells me that my husband really truly loves me, and it shows me, tell me the stuff that I used to do. Like I say, my mouth is nasty. I have to stop, and and I'm working on it as I speak. Because one thing my husband and I, we just recently said, we're doing some things in our life, and I'm not going to bring it up right now until it happens. But one thing my husband and I have said is that we are finally on the right path, on the right page. I finally met my soulmate. You know how sometimes you can be married to someone and you think that that's their soulmate, but it really isn't. I mean, and one thing, like my older sisters told me, and my daughter told me, they said that sometimes you be with a person in order to get to where you're at now. Like my daughter said, she told me, she said, Mom, she said it was meant for you to be with your ex-husband, their father. It was meant to be, but sometimes it was not. It was meant for you to be with him, but it wasn't your ending to it. My ending is with my second husband, because my ending with my second husband is my soulmate. So I'm just thankful for God for that. And then I had three beautiful kids. I have a 27-year-old, I got a 22-year-old, and I got a 12-year-old. And Lord, they are my life. When I look at my oldest daughter, I could tell you things that she had to go through in her life. She is, she had to take on a lot, because when I was married to their father, my first one, she was the mother to the mother to her brother, and some sort of to her little brother, because me and my second house, we had to work. And so I had to depend on her for a little bit more longer. I had to depend on her than what is expected of her. And so she has gone through it. But one thing I realized and I believe is that God gave me that girl for a reason. And then not only that, my oldest son, I had to depend on him. He has things going on in his life, but he's here with us. He's the young man that's still trying to find himself. And then I have a little 12-year-old girl, 12-year-old boy, who is happy because not only he's happy because he's here and because he has a sibling, because he has his mother and father together. And one thing I want to say about my second husband, excuse me, is that he acknowledged two other kids that doesn't belong to him. He acknowledged them as his own. and that speaks volume. That really do speaks volume. He acknowledged his other two kids as his own. And that's why I say God is good all the time. He is definitely, excuse me, that's my dog, and he is good all the time. So I'm bringing it to say is that my family is right here in this house. My husband, number one, and my three kids, and besides my family is my God. When I look at where our life is going and to where it's at now, all I can do is fall on my knees and cry out to God because only He can make it possible. Only He can allow me to be still alive today and still be the like the soul food. She's a soul food. She's the rock of the family. Only He can make me as the rock of my family. And I don't know what tomorrow may bring. I don't know what the next day bring. But all I know is that I depend on God so much because when I look at it, God could have let me leave this world. God could allow me to be in sickness. God could allow me to be still homeless. He could have still allowed me to be a single mother. He could allow me to lose my kids. He could, and the ones who sit there and says I'm crazy, I'm stupid, or she just, I could have just dwell on that and believe that. But I knew better than that. I knew to not focus on what they said about me and focus on what I can do, what I can say about my own self, what I can accomplish my own self. And all my 53 years, I have accomplished a lot. I have came from being a nobody to a somebody. And I don't know what the future may hold. I don't know what the next minute gonna hold. But all I know is all I have in this world besides my God is my, and besides my family, excuse me, is my God. And so I just wanted to bring up and say that, I have good days and I have bad days, but I know that my bad days will turn into my good days because I trust in God, and I know that I'm not only just talking about myself, I'm talking about everybody, everyone out there who's going through the same boat as I am, trying to figure out how to get to point A to point B. If this world was so beautiful and so perfect, we would not depend on God, but everybody's going through something in life. When I read the newspaper, when I read on my phone, when I look at the news, how people just going, they losing their life, it's just turmoil, it's just going around. But the thing about it is that we have someone that we can rely on, and that someone is we call is Jesus. He is the source of all of our desires and our needs and our want. And I have to keep telling myself that because I will be one of those person like in a lost sheep in the a lost a sheep in the wilderness trying to find this myself, trying to find. I was like that, and I still can be like that. But what motivates me and what makes me strong and what makes me to keep pushing myself is my faith. It's my faith because I believe that my faith is stronger than the Lord. Because in the Bible says that you have not because you ask not, and He says we walk by faith, not by sight. And so when I look at my life entails in me, when I look at my home, when I look at my family, my husband and my kids, when I look at my business, and I'm saying to myself, okay, now wait a minute, it's not coming faster for me, it's not coming fast enough for me, it's not progressing fast enough. But then I have to believe that I still have to hold on to my faith. I have to hold on my faith. And so I just want to just say that, it's not an easy battle, surviving God and living the spiritual life of God. It's not an easy battle when you have to keep your family together. And it's not an easy battle when you have to continue to work. Now I have another job that I work. I love the job, but I'm the only American working at nighttime, and it's not. And I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to throw no stone, but it's hard when you're working with people at your job, and they see something they don't like you for who you are, or again, they just something's wrong with you because you talking one way and it's not their lingo. And I ask God, well, why am I still at that job? But why not at my job? Because His presence has to be known. His glory has to be glorified. Okay, He put people in tough situations, difficult places, so that He can get the glory. So that's why I'm still at this job. Okay, so that's why I'm still taking on the negativity that comes my way when I go into those doors, when I come to those doors, and when I leave those doors, because only me only God rather is allowing me to still stand. I tell my coworkers, I say before I come into this building, everywhere I go, but before I come into this building, we pray up and I mean I tell God to put your grace and mercy upon me, put your breastplate upon me. I be protected by His mercy because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know one day I come in that job and I will lose my job. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that right now I depend on God. I depend on Him for everything, and that's why I know that my business. Going back to my business, I am really working hard and diligently for my business because I am older now. I need some kind of stability. I need to know that when I leave this world, my husband he tells me all the time. And at first I was like, "Oh, we don't need to talk about." It. He said, "No." He said, "It's best to talk about this, baby." He said because one day you and I are not going to be here, and we want to make sure that our kids. I said, and I asked, and I tried to just test and see what he's talking about. I said to him, I said, "You talking about our youngest son?" He said, "No, I'm not talking about our youngest son." He said, "I'm talking about all three of our kids." He said, "I want to make sure that we want to make sure that all three of our kids have something to lean onto because we're going to eventually leave this world, baby." He said, "But we got to continue to work together as a couple, as a husband and wife, and showing our kids that there is stability." And so that's why I decided I was laying in my room. God worked on me, telling me, and this first time was He told me to get on podcasts, and I didn't know anything about podcasts. And I said, "I don't know what podcast." And He said, "I said, I don't. I studied." He said, "Am I not your mouthpiece?" He said, "I don't worry about what you're gonna say, but I want you to get on the podcast. I want you to talk about the goodness of the glory that I have enabled to you. I have shown you." And He said, "Because one, you don't never know that if you get on that podcast, you may motivate somebody else. Okay, the same person going through you." Then He showed me how to get on TikTok. So I was like, okay, I got on TikTok. But then the last thing He showed me was start my business. Now I don't know nothing about no daggone business. Now I mean seriously, you business. But then He made it so that I got my LLC license. He made it so that I named my business. He made it so that I can put things on my business. And even though sometimes I go into my shops and I look at it and there's no sale, but that's why I say this past few time moments I was about to go ahead and close the store down. I did close Etsy because Etsy has a lot of scam, and as I wasn't making no money, I closed Edward because Edward wasn't making no money. But then I said, excuse my friend, this was I said, fuck it. I said, I'm gonna close the store. But then God spoke to me. He spoke to my husband. He spoke to my daughter, my kids, and told me, no, did you see that's what you're doing? You're giving in what the devil wants. He wants you to go. Just keep putting on into that business. He's after a while, you're going to see the light. You're going to see the blessing because you're putting things on that store and no one is buying that store. But see, don't you realize you're working out your faith? Faith without work is dead. Okay, how do I know I'm going to get paid for my job? Because they say so. That they can come. I don't get a paycheck, but I know because of my faith. So that's why I kept my store open, and that's why I'm still putting things in my store. That's why I'm going to continue to do my podcast. I'm going to continue to do my TikTok. Anything that will motivate me and help me, I'm going to do it. But also, when I do it, is to give glory to my God because we can't. I realize we can't do everything. We can't do anything without Him getting the glory. Now you say, well, there's people out there sinning and they get glory, but there's like somebody said I looked on my it was somebody who said they said it was on my youth. It was a young guy. He said there's two different types of a blessing. There's a blessing from God and there's a blessing from the devil. And he said that the blessing from God is know that you're being not only being blessed upon the earth, but you also being blessing because if God forbid something happened to you, you know you got a spot in heaven. But then there's a blessing from the devil. You got all the wealth and everything else on earth. But if you was to die, your soul would go straight to hell. So that's because people out there and they're sinning. I seen female they only me or what is it, only my fan, was it me fan, and they're selling, they're showing on their body and they're just getting money here and there. And I'm like, wow, if maybe I should go out there and start sinning. Maybe I should go out there and start showing my body and stuff like that. Maybe I should cheat on my husband. Maybe I should break my fanny up so I can be blessed. But then I said to myself, and God was telling me, you stupid if you do it because you're going into what the devil wants you to do. Just hold on to God's unchanging hand. He will deliver. It may not be on your time, but when he comes, it's right on time. And I said earlier, and that my husband and I, we are planning on doing something. I'm going to let it be known when it comes. But this thing that my husband and including our family, our kids, oh my God, when I let you all know, it is going to be a blessing. You all going to, the ones who said, oh, she's crazy, she's stupid, she's not to be nothing, it is going to blow everybody's mind because then they're going to realize, yes, she may stutter. Yes, I may call her crazy and stupid, but there is a God somehow or another. Okay, there is a God, and God used the foolish people or the people who we think that ain't got good sense or they stuttering or what have you. He used them for his glory. He used them to let people know that I got my hands on them. He used them to let people know I am the God. I loved it. Y'all may talk about my kids, but I loved it and I got the best interest. So when I look at my face right here, when I look at my teeth, when I look at my overweight, when I look at the fact that I'm stuttering, when I look at how people say in my face or look at me and they just think I'm stupid, I know there is a God. I know it is because he brought me around in a mighty way. He could have gave my hands when my fanny walked away. When I'm not talking about my house, but my extended fanny walked away. When my mother, God bless my father's heart. He's no longer living, and my mother, she's there, but she's not there. But God could, and my older sister, she's there, and but she's not there. But me and my sister, we have, and I say she's not there because my sister have her own battle to fight. But I talked to her. Me and her, we're close and close. But when I look at what I had been through to what I'm now, there is a God. He gave me a mother-in-law who treats me like the mother that she's supposed to treat. She treats the other two older kids as if those are her original grandkids, biological. When I look at my great grandparents, when I look at my and my father-in-law as well, and when I look at my husband, I know there is a God. It has to be a God because if there wasn't a God, then everything that's happened in my life that's positive, it wouldn't be. So I just gotta continue stretching on faith. I gotta continue to believe on faith, and I gotta just know that this too shall pass. God has something something in store for me. He's elevating me now, and he's gonna continue to elevate me. He's elevating my family, and he's gonna continue to elevate my family. He's elevating and not only for me, but for anyone that's going through the same thing I'm going through. There are a lot of single mothers or mothers out there, a lot of single fathers and fathers out there. There's a lot of family that is broken up or about to be on the verge of breaking up. Don't throw in the towel yet. I was my what is it? My advice to you is hang on to God. And if you don't know who God is, then you need to search God. Go to someone who knows who God is. Go to your church members. Go open the Bible up. I got it breaks it down to understand because sometimes I read the King James version and they taught them language. I'm like, okay, what? Okay, so I got it now. It's a King James version Bible, but it has different different tools that can break it down to you. So it breaks it down to me to understand what God is trying to tell me. And then also I also go into my own private little room, and that's when God speaks to me. God has spoke to me in my room here in my house, and when I'm at work, because I work nighttime, and when I'm on the floor, on my side of the floor, and it's just me and God, that's when he speaks to me. There was a situation me and my husband was going through something. And one thing I realized is that when you are married, it's different when you living with your spouse. You know how you go through this, but when you become married, there is another level respect, of working out your marriage. Okay, and I used to be the type of person, if I can't have it, I can't have it all. And I mean, God told me, I was at work and I came home and I told my husband, and I said, God told me, He said, you can't win it all. You can't have it all. And I kept someone, what did God mean? I can't win, I can't have it all. Meaning that you have to be humble when it comes to even your own spouse. Even if you know that, okay, I want, like for example, I want to get the last say so. No, sometimes you got to be humble. And when that also means is that you got to continue to work on your relationship. And that's why I say that it's a different level when you are actually married. When you're dating, that's kind of, but when you are actually married and you and your spouse said those vows to unto God, yeah, it's good that your family and guests around to see you married. But when you stand and you say those vows to each other unto God, that's another level of a marriage. And I have realized that. And I realized that I can't win it all. I realized that I have to continue to work on myself first and work on my husband, work on our marriage. So I'm just now saying to you all, whoever's out there, who's ever dealing with the situation like I'm dealing with, if you feel like you're about to lose everything, hold on to God's changing hand. Hold on to the fact that He is able to deliver you out. You may not see the manifestation right then and there, but soon and very, you're going to see the manifestation and you're going to know. And not only you, but the people who out there who doubt you, who put you down, who talk about you, they're going to see the manifestation of Jesus. They're going to know that God is real. If they never acknowledge in front of you and they never acknowledge somehow or another, because God said in the Bible, before He comes back, every knee above ground and every knee above, and every knee and mouth and every knee above ground and above ground and every knee and mouth below ground is going to acknowledge who He is. And below ground, that means that even the people in hell is going to know who God is. So I just wanted to bring this to say, I just wanted to get this off my shoulder. It's been on for a long time, but I'm sitting here in my living room and I'm just, I just feel like I had to tell you all this. This is the reason why I have not been posting. This is the reason why I have not been doing this and that, because I was about to throw in the towel, but I'm going to continue holding on to God's hand with His love and His mercy and grace, and with the support of my husband and my 3 kids. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay because I know that this too shall pass. I know that everything is going to be fine. I know that God has not brought me up to fail me. And so with that being said, I love you all. Please check out my store. My store is It's called Sporty Classic Creation LLC. It's loaded. I have things on Macari. I have things on Printify. I still have things on Shopify as well. I no longer have Edwin. I no longer have Etsy. I have my TikTok is called Sporty Classic Creation LLC, the store, and it's also called, the other one on TikTok is Let's Chat with Sporty. I have you can find my stuff on Pinterest. You can find my things on Facebook Marketing as well, Sporty Classic Creation LLC. And also you can find all my important information on Google, Sporty, Sporty, Classy, Classy, Creation, Creation, LLC. And thank you for listening to me. And again, it's not only for me, but it's for anyone that's going the same battle as I am, walking the same footsteps as I am. This too shall pass. Hold on to God, because that's all I can do. That's all I have in this world is my God. Take care. Bye bye.